इस पे आना जरा। हेलो। यूट्यूब पे मैंने जो आपको मैसेज भेजा ना उस पे। हाँ उसी पे। नहीं नहीं, सिक्योरिटी एड्रेस नहीं, सॉरी मैंने किसको दे दिया। एक मिनट होल्ड करना। नहीं नहीं सॉरी। अच्छा ठीक है। इस पे आ जाओ। हाँ। हम्म। हो गया, कनेक्ट हो गया। ओके। सो तुम अपना वो म्यूट कर दो, क्रोम में जाके क्रोम वाली मीटिंग म्यूट कर दो। एम आई ऑडिबल? हेलो, एम आई ऑडिबल? एम आई ऑडिबल? इनफैक्ट तुम्हें शायद क्रोम वाला अनम्यूट करना पड़ेगा। हाँ ठीक है, नहीं कुछ मत करो, ऐसे ही चलो, ठीक है। तो हम जो स्टडी कर रहे तो यूट्यूब का तुम यूट्यूब का म्यूट कर दो ना। हम्म, ठीक है, गुड। ओके। तो हम पढ़ रहे थे कि ओवर अंडरस्टैंडिंग इंडियन टेंडरिंग इकोसिस्टम, ठीक है। So this is overview of Indian tender portals. By now you have some experience on government e-marketplace, GEM portal, CPPP, Central Public Procurement Portal like eprocure.gov.in, right? इस पे हमने देखा था ना उस दिन। ओके, ठीक है। Then state e-procurement portals, each state has its own e-procure portal. Like for example, UP e-procure, वेस्ट बंगाल ई प्रोक्योर। तो हर स्टेट का भी अपना ई प्रोक्योर पोर्टल होगा। देन निक्सीज नेशनल इंफॉर्मेटिक सेंटर सर्विसेज एंड कॉर्पोरेशन, आईटी प्रोजेक्ट फॉर आईटी प्रोजेक्ट। कंपनीज गेट निक्सी एम्पैनल्ड, ठीक है। तो उसके लिए भी वो टेंडर्स निकालती है निक्सी, जिसके लिए आप निक्सी एम्पैनल्ड हो जाते हो। जब निक्सी एम्पैनल्ड हो जाती है आपकी कंपनी, तो आप निक्सी के जो प्रोजेक्ट्स हैं उन पे आगे टेंडर में पार्टिसिपेट कर सकते हो, ठीक है। So empanelment का मतलब समझ आया ना, that there will be many companies which will say that we are Nixie empaneled or Sheraton empaneled or Uptron empaneled. तो empaneled companies के लिए टेंडर निकलता है ना जब, तो उसमें लिखा होता है कि क्लाइंट की रिक्वायरमेंट है कि इट शुड बी Nixie empaneled. Okay. फिर there are MSME portals, there are exclusive opportunities for MSMEs. MSMEs, micro small medium enterprises, जहाँ पे आपका ये जो कंपनीज होती हैं which are 10 years less younger, I mean which are not old more than 10 years old, they can get MSME certificate, उद्यम certificate. ठीक है, उनके लिए MSME एंड स्टार्टअप्स के लिए एग्जाम्पशंस होती हैं. ओके, तो एग्जाम्पशंस, अब एग्जाम्पशंस किस टाइप की होंगी? एग्जाम्पशंस ऑन ईएमडी. ईएमडी इज अर्नेस्ट मनी डिपॉजिट. इट्स लाइक अभी फॉर एज अ लेमैन यू कैन अंडरस्टैंड कि जब हम टेंडर फाइल करते हैं तो देयर इज सम काइंड ऑफ अ सिक्योरिटी डिपॉजिट. ओके, दैट इज ईएमडी. Then there is after once if you qualify or if you awarded the tender, there is some kind of bank guarantee or some kind of money which is submitted. तो एमएसएमई को उसका भी वो मिल सकता है. ठीक है, जरूरी नहीं कि मिले, लेकिन ईएमडी का तो मिल जाता है. देन एमएसएमई को टर्नओवर और एक्सपीरियंस का उसमें एग्जम्पशंस मिल जाता है. So there will be many companies which will be in which you will work, which may be startup or MSME. So if there are startup and MSME, even if their experience criteria does not match, मान लो कि टेंडर में लिखा है कि I want 5 years of experience in similar projects, but the company is only 1 year old, but it's a MSME. और अगर उसके टेंडर बिड डॉक्यूमेंट में लिखा है कि it is MSME and startup exemptions, then only you can file the tender. Okay. So yesterday we studied about bid decision making, whether we have to go for this bid or not. So if a company is startup and MSME and it's a 5 year and suppose in the tender it's required. Now I will ask a question from you. Okay. Suppose in the tender document it is mentioned that the company should have an experience of 5 years or more in developing websites, softwares, etc. Now you go to a company which is only 1 year old, but is a MSME. So what will you look in the tender document? हाँ, अच्छा, और आप टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट में क्या देखोगे? जैसे ये टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट है, ठीक है, इसमें लिखा है एक्सपीरियंस ऑफ सिमिलर सर्विसेज रिक्वायर्ड. ठीक है, years of past experience required for a similar service 3 years. ओके, अब आपकी कंपनी है 1 साल. ठीक है, विल यू एज अ बिड मैनेजर, आपकी कंपनी 1 साल ओल्ड है, ठीक है, लेकिन रिक्वायरमेंट है 3 years का एक्सपीरियंस चाहिए. विल यू गो फॉर दिस बिड? गुड, राइट. बट सपोज योर कंपनी इज 1 year old, okay, and experience required is 3 years, but it is MSME and startup. ठीक है, उसने अपने आप को उद्यम में एनरोल कर रखा है, एक सर्टिफिकेट मिलता है उद्यम का जो कहता है कि कंपनी इज एमएसएमई. ठीक है, वी विल स्टडी एमएसएमई इन डिटेल, बट राइट नाउ फॉर यू एमएसएमई इज लाइक अ सर्टिफिकेट कि ये कंपनी माइक्रो स्मॉल मीडियम एंटरप्राइज में आती है. सो व्हाट विल यू लुक इन दिस टेंडर डॉक्यूमेंट? दिस इज अ बिड डॉक्यूमेंट. क्या देखोगे इसमें पहले तो? Can you read this document and tell me after ये डॉक्यूमेंट है आइटम कैटेगरी से लेके अब तक यहाँ तक. ओके, 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 सॉरी, आई एम सॉरी. कैन यू सी माय स्क्रीन? अच्छा, एक मिनट. आप दिख रहा है? ओके, नो प्रॉब्लम. वेट अ मिनट. नाउ यू कैन सी इट्स रिटन आइटम कैटेगरीज लिखा हुआ है. अच्छा, आइटम कैटेगरीज के नीचे क्या लिखा है? ओके, व्हाट इज दैट? ओके, बिलो दैट ओके ना, आपकी कंपनी का 80 lakhs नहीं है। ओके, गो हेड। ओके, गो हेड नेक्स्ट। अच्छा। ओके, ओके नेक्स्ट। ओके, so now tell me, as a bid manager, will you go for this tender? अच्छा, why? Mhm. but but you are a MSME. Yeah. So this is where you, as a bid manager, will search for tenders and will filter. And yesterday you were only asking कि हम whether like, how will I judge whether I have to go for this tender or not. So you will have a profile of the company. ठीक है, दैट्स अ पार्ट ऑफ द बिड मैनेजर्स जॉब कि उसको हर कंपनी में जाकर उसका एक प्रोफाइलिंग क्रिएट करनी पड़ेगी। हाउ मच एक्सपीरियंस इट हैज, हाउ मच एवरेज एनुअल टर्नओवर इट इज मेकिंग, हाउ मच एक्सपीरियंस इट इज इन गवर्नमेंट प्रोजेक्ट, हाउ मच एक्सपीरियंस इट हैज इन अ पर्टिकुलर डोमेन, हाउ मच एक्सपीरियंस इट हैज इन अ प्राइवेट, एंड देन इट हैज टू फाइंड आउट कि वेदर इट्स एमएसएमई और स्टार्टअप। ठीक है, so yesterday I showed you some certificates like certificate of incorporation, MSME, startup, etc. So uh, that is why you have to find, ask your, the company will tell you whether it's MSME or not, और तुम्हें भी पता ही चल ही जाएगा. You can even Google your company name and it will tell you whether it's MSME or not. ठीक है, and based on that you will have more participations in tenders because you are a MSME. Cool. Is that okay? अब आपको समझ आ गया ना कि आपको किन किन पॉइंटर्स को देखना पड़ेगा बिफोर मेकिंग अ डिसीजन विद। हम्म, हम्म, yes, very good. So MSME registered bidders often get exemptions from EMD, earnest money deposit, exemptions from prior experience and turnover. DPIT recognized startups. Now we are talking about startups are eligible for special relaxation. A newly registered startup can still participate in a 1 crore tender. Okay. Now registration requirement. MSME registration, Udyam provides a certificate, DPIT startup, GST, PAN card, digital signatures for e-tender portals. Okay, now e-procure, the CPP, Central Procurement Program, okay, Central Public Procurement Portal, okay, the e-procure, they, when you are filing the tender, na, at that time they will want a digital certificate. Okay, just remember digital certificate is like a some kind of a code, maybe in a pen drive. Okay, you have to insert the pen drive and then only you can submit the tender. Okay, it's like a signature, digital signature. Okay, right. So that the company will provide you. Then company incorporation certificate. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. These are mandatory uh, certificates or documents that will be required in filing the tender. Then there will be financial documents like balance sheet, profit and loss statement, ITR, and uh, other turnover certificate. Or these are other you have to insert in your technical proposal. Cool. Okay. Portal exploration. With Gem and eProcure, explore 2 live tenders each. Okay, we will do this. Classify 3 tenders into limited, open, and global. Okay, we missed something here. Okay. Types of tender in India. Okay, there are 5 types of tender. One is limited tender, restricted to few shortlist tenders. Okay, so most of the time you will get a tenders, oh sorry, which are open for everyone. But sometimes there may be tenders which will be written in the tender document. It will be written limited. Limited means only some companies can only submit that tenders. Okay. Open means everyone is eligible. Single tender issued to one supplier. So sometimes only one for one supplier there will be a tender. That supplier will be only eligible to submit that tender. Okay. Global tender means even international bidders can submit the tenders. Rate contract for recurring supply services at pre-agreed rates. So sometimes there are pre-agreed rates, and these rates or contracts are already fixed. For that, there is a separate tenders. Okay. Basically, you will be playing around with open and limited tenders. If you see a limited tenders and your company is not part of that, you will reject that tender bid. You will be making mostly the open tenders. Okay. 99% times you will be going for the open tenders. Okay. जिस टेंडर में ओपन लिखा होगा you will go for that. Cool. Okay. Discuss how MSME. Okay. Registration. All right. Choose one. Summarize portal department issue tendering tendering type MSME key registration requirement date of submission. Okay. So I will show you a tender, and you have to tell me the portal and which from which portal that tender is, and department of issuing the tender. Okay. Tender type, whether it's open or limited. Is there MSME exemptions or not? And key registration requirement, what documents are required, and last date for submission. Okay. These are the 5 things we will do that assignment. All right. Okay. So let me open a tender for you. Can you see this tender? Okay. What is the bid number? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. So this is the main kind of a tender ID. Okay. You can copy it and paste in your notes. Whenever you get see some tender like this, you will open a notepad like this. Okay. And just take some notes. Okay. Like gem. Okay. This is a gem. This is a tender ID. Then bid end date. What is the bid end date? September 2025. Okay. So you will copy it because this is of importance. Okay. Bid offer or validity from end means 180 days. So that means that this bid will be live for 180 days. Okay. We will tell you this, study this when it will come. Okay. Which department? So in our assignment, we had to know which department this tender was. So first tell me which portal this tender will be on. Will be okay, not on e-procure, right? Okay. And which department is floating this tender? Okay, let me see what tender you're looking. Yeah, Indian Navy tender. Na? So which department? No, not corporate affairs. Where are you reading corporate affairs? It's not there. Military affairs. Ministry of Defense. Yes. Corporate affairs is basically like your uh, certificate of incorporation that is provided by Ministry of Corporate Affairs. There is Home Ministry, there is Ministry of Defense, there is Petroleum Ministry, there is Education, HRD ministries, there is Finance Ministry. So there are so many ministries. Okay, every ministries have so many work. For each work, they have to float a tender. So you should know the department. Cool. Okay. So this Ministry of Defense is separate. It's related to Army, Navy, Air Force. Okay. So is there an exemption for MSME and startup? Can you see now? No. Can you read what is written there? First line. Okay, let me see what's going on. Are you on Google Meet? Y- YouTube, no? In YouTube, first thing, what do you see? First line. Okay, let me see. Now, what's the first line? But it is rolling. It is rolling. Acha, it may be not on your, maybe your internet is slow. Okay, yeah, it may be taking some time. So, can you tell me, let me scroll down a little. Okay, now is it fine? So, can you tell me what is the exemption, whether this tender has exemption for MSME? Yeah, it see it says years of past experience required is 3 years, and here it says exemption for years of experience in turnover. So it will not say how many years because it is already mentioned, na? Sorry. Client's requirement is that minimum 3 years should be the experience, or either he's saying that for whatever years जो exemption दी जो भी years required है उनकी exemption है. Okay. तो अब जैसे यहाँ टर्नओवर एवरेज एनुअल टर्नओवर 30 lakhs है बट योर कंपनी में बी मेकिंग 25 lakhs. ठीक है तो यहाँ पे उसने आपको एग्जामेशन ऑन टर्नओवर भी दे रखा है. ये नहीं सोचा करेगा कितना टर्नओवर क्योंकि वो तो ऑलरेडी डिमांड जो क्लाइंट की रिक्वायरमेंट है वो होगी ना. ठीक है. So that finishes our second class on Indian tendering system. Okay. Now, what you will do is you will tomorrow you will go to different websites on Google or anywhere and find a tender for me, any tender related to software development. Okay, because you will not have access to Gem portal, e-procure, maybe e-procure you can find. Okay, so your job is you have to find a software development website portal, website development portal. Oh, sorry, website development tender document for me. Okay, that is your homework. Anywhere, from anywhere, you go to Google, you find out. Okay, you search online. All right, and then you will tell me from which portal you have bought it, what department it is. You will explain me everything about this tender document. Okay, moving further, I will also explain you something more today. Okay, if our internet allows. Okay, what do you see right now on your screen? um okay. Okay, we will come to all this. Okay, because your internet is slow actually. Okay, yeah, it's lagging. Okay, so when you scroll down, okay, if you see the highlighted thing, let me know. Pre-qualification criteria, let me know. Okay, so when you scroll down this gem bid document, soon you will find some hyperlinks like pre-qualification criteria, scope for payment terms, gem availability report, undertaking of competent authorities. Okay, so when we were talking about RFP, request for proposal, okay, request of proposal is floated by the ministry or government or a private company attracting vendors to submit proposals. Okay, so RFP is like the document, okay, like a tender document. Now RFP has many sections. Okay, some of the sections details are related to the policies. Okay, like government policies. Okay, like for example, they have to they will ask the vendor has to create a website which should be aligned with the GIGW guidelines. Okay. Similarly, there will be some section in RFP which will say preliminary qualification, PQ. Then there will be technical qualification, TQ. Okay. And then there will be scope of work. Then there will be other sections also. We will come to those sections slowly, one by one. So, main bid manager, whenever you are exploring a tender and finding out whether we have to file this tender or submit this tender or not, you will go through first, you will go through the first pages, okay, whether it's MSME exempted, startup exempted, what is the turnover required, what are the years of experience required. Okay, so you will see the whether it's about your company's domain. Okay, suppose you are a software development company, you're working for a software development company, and you get a tender for building a road. Will you go for that tender? No. Okay, so that is not part of your domain. So first thing you will check the domain tenders. Then you will check, okay, what is the last date? Okay, this tender has a last date of 18 September. It is already gone. So we cannot fill this tender again. So you have to check the last date of the tender. Okay, maybe it is tomorrow. So you have to hurry up things, expedite process. Then you will check the preliminary qualification. And before that, you will check whether there is MSME exemptions or not. And then you will check the PQ, preliminary qualifications, whether your company qualifies using exemptions or not for the for this tender. And then you will sit with the technical team and check the technical qualification TQ. Okay. Yeah, here it is not there, but in the RFP there will be TQ. Okay. So yeah, I will show you. I will show you. Okay. First, we will check the PQ. Okay, what kind of PQ is there? Okay, so preliminary qualification. Can you see this part 7? Okay, yeah, it's asked for the company's PAN card, GST, experience. Okay, the bidder should have regulated the website for Indian Navy for a period of last 5 years. So here you will give the exemption that we are exempted from this. Okay. Project experience. The bidder must have executed at least one single order of rupees 10 lakhs. Now your company is only 1 year old. So you will provide it the exemption that we have the MSME and startup exemption. Okay. Average annual turnover last 3 years. It is asking for 1.5 CR per annum. Now you don't have this much. So you will again go for the exemption. Experience to complete a project with armed forces in security restricted area. You don't even have this. You will go for the exemption. Availability of office or service provided in Delhi NCR area. Now, suppose your company is in Noida, then you can provide the GST certificate stating that it's in Delhi NCR. Dedicated telephone number, you can provide that. Acceptance of all terms. So there will be an undertaking written by you. Undertaking is like a letter on the letterhead of the company that you accept all terms and conditions. Regarding EMD, earnest money deposit, is small deposit of 25,000. So for 25,000 for this bid, there is a 25,000 of EMD. So every tender person, every company which is submitting the tender, they will create a demand draft for 25,000 and attach it It's screenshot and submit it online. However, will you go for this? Yeah, yes, because you're not sure, because I'll tell you, you are having MSME exemptions. MSMEs are exempted from EMD. So your company don't have to submit a demand draft of 25,000 at this point of time. Okay. Then NEFT RTGS details. So any cancel check or form can work. Okay. The bidder should not have undergone liquidation, court receivership, or bankruptcy. So bankruptcy is something like you have not paid the loan, so you don't. Sometimes a company gets bankrupt, so you have to again make a letter stating that your company is not bankrupt. Okay, that is like an undertaking on a letterhead. Cool. Non-declaration, non-disclosure declaration, that's like an NDA, non-declaration agreement. Again, there's a letter stating the non-declaration that we will not declare anything, any information about Indian Navy to anybody else. Then there will be a police verification or character certificate of vendor. So for this, it is required. Okay, for this tender only. That a police verification, you go to police, they will sign that yes, we know this person's character is good. Okay, something like that. Cool. This is the preliminary qualification. I will check and see if I find a technical qualification tender. Give me a minute. Okay. Otherwise, we will follow up. Let me see if I can find one. Give me a minute. Yes, tell me. Mm-hmm. Yes, there are other portals also. We'll come to that later on. Okay, there are some private portals. Okay, or on the company website. Okay, so we will right now our focus is basically on the gem and e-procure. So once we finish that, then we will go for the how we can find. In fact, that is why I have given you the homework to find a tender for me. Okay, so once you do that tender homework, then you will realize from where all you can get these tenders. Okay, and then you will get a little confused. Okay, getting this tender from this website, this website, this website. Then I will tell you the difference between Gem Portal, eProcure, and the private players, which are there, which are uploading the tender. So that is why I've given you this homework, so that you have some clear idea that how to get these tenders, how the tenders are floated, basically by private players or by any other or by government. Okay, so this is another tender and it has a preliminary, this is the preliminary PQ criteria. Okay, that legal entity, the company should have copy of incorporation, turnover should be 3 crores, PAN should be there, GST should be there, experience should be there. Okay, that minimum 6 years of experience. All right, but it should not be blacklisted by any government authority. And sometimes somebody, I mean, the owner is not filing the tender. Maybe he says you sign the tender. So you will have the power of attorney to sign this tender. For that, you have to provide a certain document which will be attached with the technical proposal. Then there should be a quality. ISO 9001 is a quality certificate that is required in this tender. Okay. The technical evaluation criteria. Company is in business for more than 5 years and less than 10 years. Okay. This is how. Wait, you cannot see this document? Okay, wait, let me check. Okay, can you see this? Okay, I'll go back again. This is the pre-qualification criteria. Legal entity means the company should be registered in India under Companies Act 1956 or 2013 as amended. PQ, 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 PQ. ठीक है ना? So that requires copy of certificate of incorporation. Turnover should be at least 3 crores. Average annual turnover for this tender. Okay. PAN number should be there. GST should be there. Experience should be there. Okay. That bidder should have successfully completed or ongoing at least one similar project in state government, central government, semi-government, quasi-government, PSU, other government issue during the last 6 years with a minimum bid value of 2.5 CR. So this thing you have to go through, okay, before submitting the tender. Okay, blacklisting, the company should not be blacklisted. A self-declaration means on the company's letterhead, the company itself declared that it is not blacklisted. Okay, and a board resolution of power of attorney means somebody else apart from the uh, director or somebody else is submitting the tender, then there will be a power of attorney. That is a small document that will be attached. Okay, we'll go through these documents later on, but just understand there is some document that has to be attached. Okay, certificate ISO 9001 is a quality certificate, and that is required for this particular tender. So that has to be submitted. Cool. Now we will understand the technical evaluation criteria. Okay, so the first thing is the experience of the bidder. So technical evaluation criteria that comes into play when the uh, criteria, okay, qualification criteria, selection criteria. Okay, how do the government select which bidder we want? Okay, so there are different selection criteria like cost based. In cost based, if you have the lowest cost, you win. Okay, but every yes, yes. So if it is, but the company will not always have the low cost. No? They will say, I want the quality of work also. The government will say, no, I need the quality. How will you judge the quality? So the judging the quality is called technical evaluation criteria. So that means that the quality cost based system. Okay, so if you see here, this is a quality cost based selection. Okay, that is why there is a technical evaluation criteria here. It says that the company is in a business for more than 5 years and less than 10 years. That means more than 5 years and 10 years, we will give you 1 mark. Okay, more than 10 years, we'll give you 2 marks. If the average annual of last 3 years is between 2 to 5 CR, 1 mark. If more than 5 CR, 2 marks. Okay. So there is a marking system. Okay. So government project experience of software in MIS and during last 6 financial years and at least single order based on this. If one order is there of 80 lakhs or two order of 60 or three order of 50 lakh, 1 mark. Okay, similarly, there is 2 marks for these two orders. So you will get this in the RFP. Okay, experience in implementing food grains warehouse monitoring using AI and CCTVs, at least single order of 80 lakhs each or 60 lakhs, 350, this giving 1 mark. And similarly, there will be 2 marks for two orders of 80 lakhs. Okay. Government project experience of Mighty empanelment, that is a state cloud. No, Mighty is Ministry of Environment and Information Technology. So AWS, your Azure is Mighty empaneled. That means the government allows Azure or AWS to be used for their websites. Okay. So if you have that and you have done some projects on that, based on that, you get 1 mark or 2 marks. Okay. So every company which will use cloud, okay, will either use AWS, Azure, or any. There are some 14, 15 companies which are Mighty empaneled. Okay, so this is only requirement of the client. A write-up of proposed strategy or architecture integration ISC. So this is your technical proposal that is of 10 marks. Then there is hardware. These are the cameras which are required for 20 marks. Okay, and then certifications. If you have these certificates, all these certificates, you get 10 marks. Then there is technical presentation like PPT or some kind of, uh, you know, PPTs, presentations, that will be of 20 marks, and POC is proof of concept. So you will show to the client in the technical proposal that this is how we will go ahead and uh, create your project. That will be 30 marks. So this is how the TQ looks like. I'll send you one copy of that soon. Okay. So when you will be looking at the RFP, at that time, you will get this TQs, PQs. You have to understand that. Cool. Then there will be timeline and payment terms. Payment terms is like most of the projects are worked in phases or milestones. So for each milestone, there will be a time, and according to that time, there will be a payment. Missing those can cause penalties. After your website gets live, after that, if there is some problems, there downtime or something, there will be penalties. All this you have to mention in the proposal. So proposal writing is that you will mention what the PQR, TQR, scope of work, your summary of your company, of this project, objective of the project, about your company, then your PQs, TQs, and scope of work. How will you do this? Your approach and methodology, your technical presentations, and maybe PPTs, your past project experiences, and then your conclusion. And then you will attach all these documents. You will attach the RFP. You will attach all the forms which are there in the RFP, and then you will, that is your technical proposal. So there comes the packet. So there are the tender can be a two packet bid or a one packet bid. When it says one packet bid, the technical proposal and the financial bid, that is your BOQ, your costing. Okay, they will be in one packet. All will be uploaded once. Okay, there will be one area where you will upload it. Or if you are sending it physically, you will put all the documents, the financial and technical, in one envelope and you will send it. However, if it's a two packet bid, then the technical proposal and the financial proposal are placed in two envelopes. Both are placed in one envelope and then sent. Because if it's a two packet bid, at that time, first the technical bid is open. First, the technical documents are studied, analyzed by the technical evaluation committee, which is floating the tender. And once they do it, and if you get qualified, so they will do it for every company. If every company gets qualified, and which are some companies will get disqualified, so they will filter out the qualified and disqualified, and they will put it on the GEM portal that the technical evaluation is finished, and these companies have qualified, and these companies have got disqualified. Okay, and they will tell you the reason also why you have disqualified them. Okay, and once they have uploaded on GEM portal, after that only the financial bids will be opened. Before that, the technical evaluation committee, the government cannot see the financial bid if it is a two packet bid. Okay, so this is how the tendering process works in uh, in India. Okay, I've given you some brief understanding. I hope you understand it and you have grasped the crux of today's class, right? All right. Thank you.